All right, let's just address the elephant in the room and ask the question that is literally everywhere right now. Is the 2026 World Cup actually rigged for Argentina? If you've been watching the tournament, you know the on-pitch action has been insane. But off the pitch, well, things are getting incredibly messy. We are looking at a full-blown integrity crisis, and it matters, because when things like this snowball, it threatens the fairness of the whole sport. Fans, pundits, and even entire national football associations are seriously asking if the referees are tilting the scales for one specific team. Welcome to this explainer. Now, to be crystal clear, we are not here to pick sides today. What we are going to do is look at the actual on-pitch decisions, the hard numbers, and the massive growing claims that the defending champs, Argentina, are getting a pretty huge helping hand. We're going to break down exactly why these theories have gone from Reddit threads to an absolute global fever pitch. To get to the bottom of this, we're going to quickly cover 5 key things. 1. Egypt's formal complaint. 2. VAR inconsistencies. 3. The foul data. 4. Institutional bias. And 5. The quarterfinal controversy. So let's kick things off with Section 1, Egypt's formal FIFA complaint. The spark that really ignited this whole thing was that sensational round of 16 match between Egypt and Argentina. Picture the scene, and just look at this number, 11. Egypt is playing the game of their lives. They are up 2-0 and totally primed for one of the biggest upsets of the tournament, with just 11 minutes left on the clock. But then, the momentum just entirely flips. Argentina comes roaring back, scores 3 late goals, and snatches the win. But it's exactly how that victory happened that has Egypt absolutely furious. Just look at what Egypt's coach, Hossam Hassan, had to say afterwards. He didn't just complain about a bad call. He went straight for the jugular. He said, "We have been cheated unfairly," and flat out suggested that external forces wanted Lionel Messi to stay in the running. I mean, wow. He is arguing that his squad is being actively victimized by a governing body that favors the world champions. And the Egyptian FA didn't just tweet about it. They filed a formal complaint alleging a literal crime of discrimination and demanded the referee, Francois Letexier, and his entire crew be removed. Which perfectly tees up Section 2, VAR and refereeing inconsistencies. Let's move past the emotional stuff and look at the specific on-field moments driving everyone crazy. Because the double standard here is kind of wild. Earlier in that same game, VAR was used meticulously, like frame by frame, to disallow a goal by Egypt's Mustafa Ziko. But fast forward to the dying seconds right before Argentina's winning goal. Egypt is screaming that a clear foul was committed against Mo Salah in the box. And VAR? Crickets. It was entirely ignored. It wasn't even used to check for a potential penalty, letting Argentina just play on and score the winner. Fans are rightly pointing out that if you're using microscopic technology for one team, you absolutely have to use it identically for the other. And honestly, you can't just brush this off as sore loser talk. Even Thierry Henry, an absolute legend of the game, is validating these concerns. He simply called it a lack of coherence. And you know, when highly respected, neutral figures in the sport start questioning the refereeing, it elevates the whole conversation. This isn't just one angry team anymore. It's a legitimate, high-stakes sporting debate. Plus, the internet has definitely been bringing the receipts, drawing viral comparisons from across the whole tournament. Remember last week when Messi seemed to drag his studs down the back of Algeria's Issa Mondi's leg? He totally avoided a red card. Then you look at U.S. striker Folarin Balogun committing an incredibly similar foul, and boom, immediate red card. A suspension that, by the way, was only overturned after Donald Trump intervened. I mean, you literally cannot make this stuff up. It's exactly these high-profile, side-by-side disparities that are pouring gasoline on this crisis. Let's move on to Section 3, the foul-to-card data. Because look, humans are biased, but the numbers usually aren't. Are these just internet conspiracy theories? Let's check the hard data from the Telegraph, and spoiler alert, it reveals a glaring statistical anomaly. There is a massive disconnect between how often Argentina fouls and how rarely they are actually punished for it. Out of all the teams, Argentina ranks 4th highest for fouls committed. They are playing very physical football, yet somehow they have the 2nd fewest bookings overall. Usually, if you foul a lot, you get carded a lot, right? This inverse relationship is incredibly rare and, frankly, does absolutely nothing to shut down those bias rumors. If we drill down into that Algeria match specifically, the same one with the Messi stud-raking incident, we can clearly see this weird disparity in real time. The numbers tell a crazy story. Argentina committed 13 fouls compared to Algeria's 8. They were undeniably the more rule-breaking, aggressive team on the pitch that day. And what was the punishment for those 13 fouls? 0. That is the number of bookings Argentina received in that entire match. 0 cards for 13 fouls. When fans look at objective statistical anomalies like this, it takes the conversation from subjective complaints to a place where it's genuinely hard to ignore the favoritism theories. Which brings us to Section 4, Infantino and Perceived Favoritism. A lot of times the tone is set at the very top, right? So we have to look at FIFA's leadership. Look at this incredibly jarring quote from FIFA President Gianni Infantino. After Argentina barely survived their match against Cape Verde, a team many people thought actually outplayed them and deserved to win, Infantino goes on Argentine television, he congratulates the squad, explicitly says he, quote, suffered with them during the match, and then hastily tacks on at the very end, but I am neutral. Wait, what? Yeah, unsurprisingly, fans completely dragged him for this. You're the supposedly neutral president of the governing body. When you go on TV and admit you are emotionally suffering alongside one specific team, you can't be shocked when fans start screaming favoritism and demanding investigations. It leads to some really serious questions about what kind of influence is trickling down. Like, do referees feel subconscious pressure to protect the team their boss is openly rooting for? And that leads us straight into our final section, the quarterfinal officiating controversy. Because the drama is far from over, and it's affecting the next critical stage of the tournament. Knowing everything we just talked about, the scrutiny, the weird VAR stats, the accusations of bias, what does FIFA do? For the massive, highly anticipated quarterfinal between France and Morocco, they inexplicably appoint an all-Argentinian refereeing team. France is a heavy title favorite right alongside Argentina, and these two nations are fierce rivals. Letting officials from Argentina oversee their biggest rival's knockout game is being slammed worldwide as an absolute, staggering lack of self-awareness by FIFA. But you know who isn't stressing? France's coach, Didier Deschamps. While the entire internet is anticipating foul play and losing its collective mind, he's taking a totally pragmatic approach. His attitude is basically, look, decisions spark debate, but we just have to deal with it and play our game. It is such a wild contrast. Total uproar from the fans and absolute icy composure from the professionals actually prepping for the match. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought as we head into the quarterfinals of this deeply scrutinized World Cup. We've gone over Egypt's furious formal grievance, the wild VAR inconsistencies, the undeniable weirdness in the foul data, and the questionable optics from FIFA's president himself. So now, with an all-Argentinian ref team stepping onto the pitch for France versus Morocco, what happens next? Is the stage set for a brilliant display of fair play that totally silences the critics? Or are we about to witness something that pushes these conspiracy theories past the point of no return? Keep your eyes on the pitch, folks, and thank you for joining me to break this all down.